At the outset, I most humbly prostrate at the lotus feet of my Gurudeva, Srila Bhakti Kusum Saman Goswami Maharaj, my Parama Gurudeva, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur, the illustrious founder Acharya of Sri Chaitanya Math and Sri Gaudiya Maths, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Sri Radha Krishna, and crave for their mercy for rendering devotional service for life after life. So now we are going to discuss about Damodara month, Damodara Lila. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavivididitam kalmashapaham shravana mangalam Srimad-Atatam Bhuvi Ginnanti Te Bhuridajana. The narrations of the nectarian glorious pastimes of the panacea for the afflicted souls. Thy glories are ever celebrated by the mystic devotees. They destroy the evils of life. They sweeten the ears with soul enchantment and confer eternal good and spiritual upliftment on those who hear and chant them. Those who narrate your glorious pastimes are the munificent bestowers of gifts on earth. Greatness of Damodara Lila. This is the month, Kartika month, Damodara month. So among the 12 months of the Vaishnava calendar, certain months are very auspicious to perform devotional services. Among such auspicious months, the most auspicious is the month of Kartika, also known as Damodara month. It was during this month, on the day of Diwali, that Krishna performed his Damodara Lila. So this month is also very dear to Srimati Radharani. So about this month, even Puranas also explains the glories of Kartika month. Na Kartika samamaso na kritena samam yugam na veda sadisham na krita gangaya samam Kartika prabharamasho Vaishnavam priya sada. There is no other month equal to Kartika, no other yuga equal to Krita yuga, no other scriptures equal to Vedas, no other place of pilgrimage equal to Ganges. Therefore, the month of Kartika is very dear to Vaishnava devotees. It is also said in Skanda Purana, Dwadasu api masesu Kartika Krishna Vallabha tasmin Sampujita Vishnur alpakairopi upayan nahi dadati Vaishnavanam lokamiti evam nischitam maya. So among the 12 months of 12 months, the month of Kartika is very dear to Krishna. If somebody performs a little worship of Sri Hari in this month, he offers, that is Krishna offers that devotee his own abode. It is said in Padma Purana. The devotional services performed during Kartika, especially pleasing to Lord, are rewarded with greater spiritual result than usual. Padma Purana further recommends the daily offering of ghee lamb to Lord Damodara. This month gets the name of Damodara because Lord Krishna performed the Damodara Lila in this month. The Damodara Stakam prayers composed by Satyavrata Muni beautifully describe the Damodara Lila, in which Yashoda binds mischievous Krishna to a grinding mortar. What we realize from the Damodara Stakam prayers is that all-pervading, all-powerful Lord is easily conquered by the love of his devotee. That is, love-saturated devotee desire nothing except to constantly hear and glorify his pastimes. Now Mother Yashoda binds Lord Krishna. Once upon a time, seeing that her maid servant was engaged in different household duties, it was on the day of Diwali. Mother Yashoda personally took charge of churning butter. While she churned butter, she sang the childhood pastimes of Krishna and enjoyed thinking of her son. The end of her sari was tightly wrapped while she churned, and on her account of her intense love of her son, milk automatically dropped from her breast, which moved as she labored very hard, churning with two hands. The bangles and bracelets on her hands tinkled as they touched each other, and her earrings breast shook. There were drops of perspiration on the face, and the flower garland which was on her head scattered here and there. So before this picture's sight, Lord Krishna appeared as child. He felt hungry, and to increase his mother's love, he wanted her to stop churning and indicated that her first business was to let him suck her breast, and then she could do churn butter later. Sri Krishna, feeling hungry, and she came to Mother Yashoda and wanted to drink milk, breast milk. So Mother Yashoda took her son on her lap and giving him milk, and she was smiling, enjoying the beauty of her child. But suddenly the milk which was on the stove began to boil over. Just to stop the milk from spilling over, Mother Yashoda at once put Krishna aside and went to the stove. Left Krishna in that state by his mother, Krishna became very angry. And when Krishna became very angry, and he was red in rage, his lips and eyes were become red, and he pressed his teeth and lips, and taking a piece of stone, he immediately broke the pot of yogurt. Immediately broke the butter pot and took the butter out of it. With false tears in his eyes, he began to eat the butter in a secluded place. So in the meantime, Mother Yashoda returned to the churning place after setting over the milk pan in order. She saw the broken pot which was churning yogurt had been kept. Since she could not find her boy, she concluded that the broken pot was his work, that is by Krishna only. She smiled as she thought, the child is very clever. After breaking the pot, he has left this place fearing punishment, Yashoda was thinking. So after she sought all over, she found her son sitting on a big wooden grinding mortar which was kept upside down. Krishna was sitting on that and was just taking the butter. He was taking butter from a pot which was hanging from the ceiling swing and was feeding to the monkeys. She saw Krishna looking this way and that, and because he was conscious of his naughty behavior, so after seeing her son engaged, she very silently approached him from behind. After seeing mother coming from behind with a stick in hand, he immediately got down from the grinding mortar and began to flee in fear. So Mother Yashoda chased him to all corners and trying to capture the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is never approached even by the meditations of great yogis. In other words, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who is never caught by the yogis and speculators, was playing just like a little child for such a great devotee as Mother Yashoda. So Mother Yashoda, however, could not easily catch the fast running child because of her thin waist and heavy body. Still, she was trying to follow him as fast as possible. Her hair loosened and flowers of hair falling on the ground. Although she was tired, she somehow reached her naughty child and captured him. When he was caught, Krishna was almost on the point of crying. He smeared his hands over his eyes, which were anointed with black cosmetics. The child saw his mother's face while she stood over him and his eyes became restless from fear. So Mother Yashoda could understand that Krishna unnecessarily afraid, and for his benefit she wanted to allay his fear. Being the topmost evolution of his child, Mother Yashoda thought, if the child is too fearful of me, I don't know what will happen to him. Moreover, Mother Yashoda threw away her stick. In order to punish him, she thought to bind his hands with some ropes. She did not know, but it was actually impossible for her to bind the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Moreover, Mother Yashoda was thinking that Krishna was her tiny child. She did not know that the child had no limitation. There is no inside, no outside, nor beginning nor end. He is unlimited, all-pervading. Indeed, he himself, the whole cosmic manifestation. Still, Mother Yashoda was thinking of Krishna as her child, as her own child. Although he is beyond the reach of all senses, she endeavored to bind him to a wooden grinding mortar. But when she was trying to bind him, she found that the rope she was using too short. Again she collected some ropes from the house and different places, but still when at last knot was to be given, but still she found that it is too short. So Mother Yashoda was smiling, but she was astonished. How was it happening? In attempting to bind her son, she became tired. She was persevering, and the garland on her head fell. Lord Krishna appreciated the hard labor of his mother, and being compassionate upon her, he agreed to be bound by her ropes. Krishna, playing just like a human child in the house of Mother Yashoda, was performing his own selected pastimes. Of course, no one can control the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the pure devotee surrenders himself unto the lotus feet of Krishna, who may either protect or vanquish the devotees. But for his part, the devotee never forgets his own position of surrender. Similarly, the Lord also feels transcendental pleasure by submitting himself to the protection of the devotees. This was exemplified by Krishna's surrender to his mother Yashoda. Krishna is the supreme bestower of all kinds of liberation to his devotees, but the benediction which was bestowed upon Mother Yashoda, which was never experienced even by Brahma, Shiva, or Goddess of Fortune. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as the son of Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, is never so completely known to the yogis and speculators, but he is easily available to his devotees, nor he is appreciated as the supreme reservoir of all pleasure by yogis and speculators. So after binding her son, Mother Yashoda engaged herself in household affairs. At the time, bound up to the wooden mortar, Krishna could see a pair of trees before him which were known as Arjuna trees. The great reservoir of pleasure, Lord Krishna thus thought to himself, Mother Yashoda, first of all, left me feeding without sufficient milk, and therefore I broke the pot of yogurt and distributed the stock of butter in charity to the monkeys. Now she has bound me up to a wooden mortar, so I shall now do something more mischievous than before. And thus he thought of pulling down the two very tall Arjuna trees. Stop panningla. Okay. So now the Krishna thus thought of pulling down the two very large Arjuna trees. There is a history behind the pair of Arjuna trees. One day, Nalakubara and Manigriva were drunk very much, enjoying the company of young girls in the Ganges water. While they were thus enjoying, all of a sudden, the great sage Narada Muni happened to pass that way. on seeing the two demigods so degraded by intoxication and engaging with young girls. He wanted to punish them from their misdeeds and save them from their fallen life. He cursed them to become two Arjuna trees. He wanted them to remain as trees for 100 years, and after that they would be fortunate enough to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. By His causeless mercy, they would be again promoted to the life of demigods and the great devotees of the Supreme God. The child Krishna began to crawl in between the two trees, and the large wooden mortar stuck horizontally between the trees. As soon as he pulled the rope which were tied to the wooden mortar, the two trees fell to the ground with a great crash. Out of the fallen trees came two personalities shining like blazing fire. The two purified bodies immediately prostrated before the child Krishna and offered their respect and prayers, because they know that this is the Sri Krishna which was told us by Narada Muni. Now the child Krishna began to smile and told Nala Gopal and Manigriv to go back to their father's residence in the heavenly planet and remain in their devotional service. The demigods then circumambulated Sri Krishna many times and bowed down before him again and again, and thus left. So hearing the noise of the crashing of the trees, Yashoda and others rushed to the spot. She is surprised to see how Sri Krishna could drag such a heavy wooden mortar. She was happy to see her child unhurt. She untied the knots of the rope of Krishna and took Krishna on her lap and feeding milk. This is Damodara Lila.